How do you do, folks?
Good morning, good afternoon. Hey, Zurich.
Yeah.
I was with you when you took that photo, I think.
Yeah, well, you were standing right next to me. That's right. That's the picture. I just really it was sort of the time year I was saying, yeah, I'm gonna change my background. I'm not quite going into a Christmas one yet, but I was like, well, let's see. I was looking and I said, oh, this is exactly roughly where I was a year ago.
So the
And
standard meeting question is, have you had glühwein today?
yeah. I wish I had. But yeah, not yet. Okay. We're just gonna let people roll in here for a minute, for a second.
Terry meeting just finished. I don't know if they ever come here, but
It's a good point because generally they don't. I wish they did that we'd get an update. And no, actually, the that was true when they were still a task force of the technical staff working group, but of course they're their own working group now.
all they're
So
their own
Yeah,
working group.
yeah. That's
yeah,
why that's why the work group was created because they kind of do their own thing.
yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. Let me share the sheet here. We can make this hopefully a pretty efficient meeting. I think it's that window right there. And adjust the chat and participant list up. There we go. All right, it just turned 4 after, so let's get going. Welcome everyone to the December and final meeting of the Technical Staff Working Group for 2025, December 9th meeting. As always, we share not only our antitrust policy notice here, but our special additional policy that we adopted that any participant contribution has a maximum of 45 days to make any exclusion of essential claims. So, looking quickly, it doesn't look like we have any new members. These are well-established members here. So, quick check on the agenda here. We have our usual task force reports. And then right now, or as of last night, as I was thinking about it, the only special thing, even though we could cover it in the Trustworthy Task Force report, but I figured Daryl, you wanted to do a separate discussion of the TRQP version 2 public review. Is there anything else, anyone wants to add to the agenda? Okay, just checking in. Any backup, any general announcements other than just a reminder that to everyone that we have our Q4 all members meeting and virtual holiday party tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, 2100 UTC, at which Carly will perform a performative dance of some kind. As I just kidding. I think we're just going to have a recap of the symposium and enjoy each other's. That's going to be the main part of that. Actually, I'm realizing, Carly and Scott, that we probably need to put together a deck for that, of which I have not given any bandwidth because this first 3 days this week are bananas busy. So maybe separately we should talk about what we want to put together there for that. Okay, any other announcements? that anyone wants to share? All right. We don't have any action items since most of our work is all going on in these wonderful task forces. So let's pile into task force reports. Um, this longstanding, asynchronous, the technology architecture task force. This particular document has come up several times in the last a couple weeks because it is actually getting referenced in different ways. And this long-standing action item to finish or update the one section where we have an issue is finally going to land on my desk, and it's going to happen over the holiday break because we need to update. We also need to update some other documents that we thought we could get done by the symposium that didn't fit, but I'm determined. We need to update our introduction to trust RIP, design principles, and then finalize this one. So those 3 documents as well. And I also want to have some kind of consolidated document for the governance stack, but that's a separate issue to bring up with ecosystem governance. So that's all I have to say about that one. Over to Trust Review Task Force. Daryl.
Not a lot to say, but major update is we are either in or just about to be in public review. This is the second public review for the Trust Query Protocol. We presented it at the symposium, but largely speaking, it is a relatively simple specification, much simpler than it was on the first version. Got a lot of good feedback on we're already seeing adoption certainly on the IRA side, but other folks are already actively looking at it. I just actually shared that with the Swiss EID team. I was chatting with them earlier today. So they're going to start looking at it, no commitments and stuff. But it's a key time. So if you know anybody who is in this space, please reach out, let them know. We're expecting the blog post, any day. They've got all the content. It's just a question of when does LFTT finish its review, and I know they've actively been doing that. We finalized that on the weekend. But yeah, pretty exciting times. It also means we're going to go to a slower cadence over the holidays. And we should have the final information in by, I think, first week of January will be when we do the actual disposition of all the comments received. So pretty exciting time.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Trust Planning Protocol Task Force. This Wenjing is never able to make this meeting. I think it's got a standing conflict on it. That task force is asynchronous now, and all I can say is that things have continued to be, pretty stable. The changes that were dependent on Caesar 2.0, my understanding is they've all been implemented now. So it's moving along. The main thing that Wenjing has been doing has been giving talks, including the one he gave at the symposium about using MCP and A2A over TSP, and showing the benefits of that, which I think is really compelling stuff. So I don't think there's anything further to report on that. I think one open issue is as things are stable and the Caesar spec is finalized, which is a process under, it's been taken up to the steering committee level now. That should pave the way for 1.0 to come out, I think, in Q1. So that's all I have on that. AI and Human Trust Task Force. Wenjing's also co-chairing that. Do we have anyone else who's been attending that? I have not been able to go to meetings in a couple of weeks. Neil, go ahead.
Yeah, so there, as we all know, there's lots of groups and Diff and Trust IP looking at agents and agent interactions. So it's getting kind of blurry there. There is a lot of cross-pollination between the groups. One of the key things for the EIM is to look at, what are the deliverables we're going to look at that fall outside of that and or contribute to it. So that's top of mind in the next couple of weeks and the early new year in terms of what the deliverables would be.
Okay, so you're saying they're just sort of reassessing what the deliverables will be early in the new year.
Yeah. Well, the deliverables through 2026. I mean, part of it is to
2026 deliverables will be.
yeah, we've got a number of candidate discussions going on that are not being covered off by the trust, shall we say, interaction stuff. So we'll definitely look at some area that we want to talk about explicitly. So
2026 deliverables. Okay, that sounds good. All right. So high assurance bids task force, we don't have Alex, and I, I I just know from the sort of dialogue, unless Scott has anything different to say, that it's been stalled, I think is the best way to put it. That it hasn't been meeting on a regular basis. I think because there's been, after we got some feedback about the spec. I don't think it was public review. It was just feedback that was received in it. At that point, the spec has sort of stalled. So I don't have anything further to update because I haven't been able to attend a meeting in a while. I don't know, Scott, do you have any other info on that?
No, I think you explained it pretty well. There isn't, we don't have the inertia needed to drive. Somebody has to care. And I think that there's a lot, I mean, as it relates to me, I think Drummond relates to you, there are other things that you care more about. And
Yep.
we need to have, obviously, we need to have someone driving it. We were thinking that it could be Alex Tweedale. But apparently, it's not happening. I think, I'd say let's put it in the suspension mode. And there may be some time when, that may rise in its priority, depending on where, what other things we've accomplished. And now this is the.
Yep. I agree with you. I do. And I will actually put in action. And I'll take the action item to check with Alex. Alex, there we go. Yeah, exactly. It's classic, situation. Is there the demand and to get the work done, or not? And that's fine. I don't think it's we anticipated it might be a requirement in the market, but it hasn't. We haven't seen the demand appearing. It could reappear, and that's fine. All right, our last task force, also asynchronous did skid. That one has been cooking along very nicely. I in literally the last week, in fact, the story I love to tell is there's work going on in the decentralized trust graph working group on implementing over there the did WebVH method was what was being used, but the implementers over at Affinity found that they wanted to be able to issue DIDs for verifiable relationship credentials that didn't require having to put the DID document on a web server under WebVH. So we pointed out to them, oh, well, that's why we're doing DID skid, is because it can be location independent. And you then in a peer-to-peer usage, you don't have to, separately store the DID document. You just share it with the other party. And they asked for a link to the spec, and 24 hours later, they came back and said, yeah, we've implemented everything in Rust. So, in addition to the implementation and the diff decentralized, the diff universal resolver that Marco Sabadello created and showed at the last IW, we now have 2 implementations, and it will be a hot topic for us. Daryl and I are going to be going to the Victoria Digital Trust Squad meetup in Victoria at the end of this week, and this will be one of the hot topics we'll be discussing is the evolution of the different DidSkid formats, is what we call them. There's also one very active interest on another one. Currently, it's called DidJLink, but they're changing it to DidFedID. It's the FedID team that's been working on that, and they want to be DidSkid compatible. So, and the last thing I'll report on is that DidSkid is one of the DID methods that's been accepted for review by the diff DID methods working group, which has this process for basically running through a DID method through a whole bunch of evaluation to determine is it going to be a diff recommended DID method. It's basically a response to the over 200 DID methods out there in the market, and but because DidSkid uses formats from other skid-based DID methods, we realized it would be best to let those skid-based DID methods go through the process. As they're approved, it's going to make DidSkid essentially a no-brainer. DidSkid's really a meta method. And DidWebS and DidWebVH are through the process. Did another one called DidWebPlus, which is also a skid-based format. It's going through the process now. And so we're just going to wait until those are done, and then it should be a pretty straightforward thing for DidSkid to get through. And I'll stop there and see that Carly, you have your hand up, so go ahead.
Yeah, just so first of all, have anyone heard of DidCel or DidCell, or I don't know, Sam Smith
DidTel?
mentioned it. Yeah.
I heard someone say did tell, where TEL is it transaction event list?
Okay, that makes
It's related to
sense.
a cal. It's a type of cal. I
Yeah.
don't remember the terms.
Okay.
I've only heard sort of very incidental mention, but definitely heard of did tell, TEL, out of the
Okay.
carry community.
So because Carrie was saying, Sam Smith was saying that there is another did method that has been created that follows some but not all of the carry principles, and they and he didn't provide any other information in the meeting, but I was wondering if that would fit as a did skid method. Also, Drummond, I was just thinking maybe it would be, I have this idea that keeps coming in my head, but I cannot implement it. But the idea was do what we're doing right now when we are considering different did methods and stuff like that, but a task force or a group or on a one meeting say that, okay, we're taking on the persona of somebody who's going to hack it. Now let's just talk about nothing else except how we're going to hack it in order to get away with something. Which is everybody is doing that. Indirectly when they're doing risk assessment, but I thought like a deliberate group that's always trying to break the specifications being created by the other group might be an interesting way to approach a problem. That's just an idea.
So you're talking about red teaming a particular did method like this one, or all did methods? What
It first came to my mind for the first person credential, because you have the human impact or whatever, but you could also, I mean, just taking some time once in a while because if you take on the persona and work together as a group about how we're going to hack it and break it, sometimes you can
Yes.
be more creative about, because you're letting yourself take on that role, and then you are more innovative to be like, how can we break this? Let's try and then the next meeting is how we would fix it. But you wouldn't sit there, you would just try and break it with a persona.
Got it. Did method red teaming. Okay. So
Oh, red
first of all,
teaming. Okay.
I'll put it here. The did method you're referring to is called did cell, CEL, cryptographic event log. It
Oh,
was just announced by Manu Sporty on the W3C mailing list, I think like yesterday or the day before, something like that. I happened to, just check up on my CC mail and there it was. Now, it's not a brand new thing. The CCG has had a work item on cryptographic event logs for a while. They're just a generally, it's Daryl, among others, might laugh because it's exactly what in the early days we called a microledger. And it's basically a hash chain of data structures. And what I think for almost a year now, the W3CCG has had this work item to sort of propose should there be a standard for cryptographic event logs. And now they've just taken it and said, oh, well, that can be applied to DIDs and, to the, verifiable history, if you use the VH term. And it could just be a standardized method. So I briefly looked at it and said, yep, it's another essentially SCID-based DID method that the only difference is it's trying to standardize the history format, which is the same thing that all the others do. So I can't say if it's, there's something better or worse, but it is definitely, Daryl, I added it to the potential discussion item for Friday's Victoria Digital Trust Squad meeting to talk about that. And I'll try and take a look at it and see if I can see what's new or different. So anyway, that's just, yes, Carly, that's what Sam was referring to. And I put the link in the chat. And I like the idea of the red teaming. Interesting enough, because of the work going on in risk assessment and harms prevention in the decentralized trust graph working group, which Scott has been helping to lead. Is he still here with us? Yes. These questions of, okay, how would you attack a DID method? At least I know I was part of a signal discussion on DDoS for DID methods last night. So yeah, this is a really good. It's a good suggestion. And that's all I've got on DID SCID. So Daryl, you already covered the public review. I had it separately on the agenda in case there was anything else that we wanted to say about that. But is there anything else to say about that other than we'll I think when the blog post goes up, we should send out an email to the whole mailing list, just saying, hey, this is now in public review.
great. Yeah, I mean that's really it. It's now ready for review and looking forward to getting a bunch of input. What we have found is implementer drafts are, they're necessary, but they don't get the attention a public review does. It tends to open up a much broader audience. People only have so much time, so they tend to, some groups who are not, close to everything like we are in this meeting, tend to jump in. We have a lot of folks from the OpenID, for example, who really they don't have the time to look at things until they're ready to go to review. So we're looking forward to getting broader input.
Members mailing list. Yeah, good. So when that blog post goes up, which I think is supposed to be this week,
Yeah.
we'll make sure to share. And and then I'm going to say the other one is we're going to well, I'm just going to say, we'll announce it to announce this at the all member meeting tomorrow. There we go. All right. We'll make sure to get that on that. And Carlin Scott, sometime today I'll get with you about preparing some slides for the all member meeting tomorrow. And with that, I don't think we have any other business unless if there's anything else that someone wants to bring up. Oh, Eric, I see Eric has joined us here. Welcome, Eric. Yeah, we've covered our task force reports, and we can give everyone a half an hour back on their day, unless Eric, you have something that you would like to have us discuss for the next half an hour.
I don't have anything prepared along those lines, so no.
All right.
But thank you, though. Good to see you all.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and it's funny because work that was initially started at the Technical Stack Working Group. Well, now Carry Stack has its own working group. The AI, actually, I realized I have the report on that task force, but it's no longer a task force. And I've made this mistake twice. I'm going to go back and fix the agenda because that's now its own working group. So we don't, enough things. And now COG, of course, has long been its own working group. We don't have to cover them here. Which I will plant one final seed as I was thinking about it this morning. It's like, because most of our work is in task forces, we don't really have, what I'm finding is we don't have a compelling reason for this group to meet monthly. I mean, we changed it from biweekly to monthly. I'm thinking in 2026, we could probably change it to quarterly, unless we feel there really is the need to, have monthly reports on the task forces. So cook on that. We can, let's plan on meeting in January on our current schedule, and we can decide there if we want to go to quarterly in 2026. And with that, unless there's anything else, we can give everyone a half an hour back to go get breakfast or lunch or dinner. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. And we'll see you at the all member meeting tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks all.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
man. See you.